The world today faces many serious problems: environmental disasters, overpopulation, wars and extremist violence, potential pandemics, social injustice and widespread poverty. Many people question why, if we are so smart, we can't solve these problems we face before they destroy us. In many of these cases we have the capability to fix the problem, we just don't seem to have the ability. The underlying cause of these problems seems to be that humanity as a whole does not seem to be in control of itself. Throughout history mankind has tried many systems of government: aristocracy, theocracy, dictatorship, communism as well as democracy to manage its collective problems, even no government at all. The results of these systems are all well documented by historians. Most learned people today agree that democracy, in spite of its faults, is the best system of all those tried. This is attributed mainly to the fact that it is the only system which holds the leaders accountable to the people they rule over. However, even in democratic countries we still haven't solved many of the problems we face. On top of that, democracy often creates its own problems such as inefficiency, excessive bureaucracy and an inability to make clear decisions. People often just blame this on the politicians. But if it was that simple, then why can't we just elect better politicians? Just as with other types of system we are familiar with, the design of the democratic system has a major effect on how well the government works. Around the world there are many versions of democracy and they all function to varying degrees of effectiveness. Mathematicians have long deliberated upon the problem of what is the best type of democratic system. Arrow's theorem states that it is impossible to have a perfect voting system, but this is not surprising if you consider that no kind of machine is ever 100% efficient, nor is any other type of system invented. That doesn't mean, however, that we shouldn't try to improve upon what we have tried before and implement the best one we can. I'm now going to tell you about a new democratic system designed to improve upon ones used in the past. It's called Cooperative Power-sharing. Cooperative Power-sharing is a form of democracy designed to optimize the following democratic principles. Representativity. That's the percentage of the electorate directly represented by the elected official. Accuracy and accountability. To make sure that both credit and discredit are correctly allocated to the appropriate politician. Equality. The power of each voter should be as equal as possible. Unbiasedness. So that no inappropriate, non-democratic factors influence the election, such as financial or boundary changes, etc. Understandability. It must be simple and transparent enough for ordinary people to understand how it works and for democracy, like justice, to be seen to be done. Here's how it works. The voting is done in 2 stages and is called the rate and rank system. In the first stage, each candidate on the ballot is rated. This would be within a predetermined range of values such as 0 to 10, -10 to +10, or maybe just from -1 to +1. This type of voting is also known as range voting. When all the votes have been collected, the ratings for each choice are simply added together to see how they are rated overall. We use the results of this vote to make a short list of the highest rated candidates, such as the top 3. Those that don't make the short list are eliminated. In the second stage, each choice is ranked. The most preferred choice is ranked 1, the next is ranked 2, and then 3, etc. From the shortlist derived from the rating vote, we start eliminating the remaining candidates. We find the least preferred remaining candidate by counting each voter's least favored, with their lowest ranking. The least preferred votes are added up for each candidate to see who has the most. The least preferred candidate is then removed one by one until we are left with only one remaining. And that's the winner. The benefits of using the rate and rank system are: there would be many options on the ballot with a real chance of winning instead of just 2. People wouldn't be discouraged from voting for a candidate just because they did not appear to be popular before the election. Voters can express their opinion more expansively and accurately without having to vote tactically. A higher percentage of the population will get the result they want, or at least one they like. It can be used not only to choose politicians but also to choose between a multiple set of options for any group of people so that they can make better collective decisions. It can facilitate negotiations even for people who are on bad terms with each other and have to communicate via an intermediary. For politicians voting on bills in a Congress or Parliament, reducing the likelihood of political gridlock. It could also be used to elect a Parliament or Congress, and with a much higher percentage of the electorate represented, a greater range of real choices in an election will not only create more ideological options but also more personnel options too, allowing voters to consider which candidates they prefer as well as which policies. It's infinitely scalable. That means it could be used for an unlimited number of people, from just a handful to a whole nation or more. Other voting systems like the single-choice system, which is still widely used, are more like a game, with winners and losers. The losers are told to accept the result and try again next time. What is unacceptable is that the people who voted for the losers often greatly outnumber those that voted for the winners. A candidate can win who is more disliked than liked. Many nations of the world are divided ethnically, culturally, or otherwise. When a democratic system repeatedly favors one side over another, this can lead to building resentment amongst the losing side. This inevitably can result in civil strife and even civil war. The rate and rank system promotes government of greater consensus and inclusion that makes decisions that are better suited to the true majority, well beyond 50% of the populace. Poorly accountable politicians are often corrupted by power and then abuse the power they have to keep a tight grip on it. The rate and rank system will give far more candidates a real chance of winning, making the field far more competitive. The incumbent politician will find it far harder to entrench themselves in their position unless, of course, they are actually doing a good job. There are people who say there's nothing wrong with the system we've got, or that the rich and powerful are wiser than the common man. These are most likely the people who currently have more than their share of power and would lose out when ordinary citizens got their fair share. We know that rich corporations and special interest groups have too much power. Others too profit from dysfunctional politics. They don't want a reformed system and they will use their power and wealth to try to block it. While there are a lot of differing opinions in politics, most people actually agree on a lot of other things too, such as regulating pollution or wanting fair politics with less corruption. It's farcical that political decisions cannot be made on issues that are well agreed upon simply because of the system we use. A voting system is really just a way for a group of people to make a collective, unified decision. As we all know, sometimes this is necessary as we can't have everything our own way. Just as when we were children we were taught how to share, cooperative power sharing is a way of sharing for adults where higher stakes and greater numbers are involved. Unlike less articulate voting systems, cooperative power sharing enables us to make decisions on the things we do agree on even when we don't agree on other things. Some people think they can achieve peace and harmony just by singing songs or telling everyone to spread peace and love. Cooperative power sharing does more than that. It offers a realistic and practical solution to much of the discord and dysfunction in our world. This is not about forcing an ideology on people or a secretive plan for a new world order. This is an overt system to enable people to share power and empower them to better choose what they want and the way they want to be governed. In the future, humanity will face newer and bigger problems than ever before, such as managing our many global collective interests. The air we breathe, the oceans that surround the world, and the other limited resources we have available on Earth. Also, we must be ready to deal with the way new technology is going to affect our lives. There will also be completely unexpected problems to deal with too. If we can't find better ways to agree and cooperate on these issues, then humanity will be doomed. So let's all take another step forward towards a better future by learning to share power cooperatively.